Hi everyone, welcome back into my kitchen. I know you remember me, who I am, Cooking with Carol Diane. And I know you're also saying, well, where have you been? You haven't made some videos in a little while. No, I haven't. So let's just take this little time right now to have a little chit chat. And my little chit chat is to tell you that I have been gone from my kitchen as far as making videos because I had to have 2 major surgeries. And during that time, I just didn't feel comfortable going into my kitchen and all the work involved in making a cooking video. And I just needed the recovery period time. I still have 1 more surgery to go. And I'm hoping after that one, I'll scoot right back on into my kitchen and make a whole bunch more new videos for you because I so enjoy them. And I know that you do too, because I have gotten a lot more followers and people that subscribe on YouTube of seeing what this woman cooks in her Colorado kitchen. Some of you have even asked me, what's it like to live in Colorado, versus all the videos that I, tune in and kind of watch that are back east. A lot. A lot. I was born and raised on what's called the northwestern side of Colorado, which means I now live, well, it means anything west of the Continental Divide. And if you were to look on a map, you would see the great big mountains in the Continental Divide. And I live west of that. I've always lived high up on the northwestern side of Colorado. I came from a little town of raising my kids called Hayden, with an elevation of a little over 6,000, about 6,584. It was the population. Then I dropped down to 6,240, living in a little small town called Meeker. And now I'm in what's called Grand Junction, which is the largest town in Colorado on the northwestern side, with a population of over 6,000 people. It's not like Denver, they have about 700,000 people, very large. But I call Grand Junction a mini city because to me it is. It has a lot of people down here, and I'm not used to all of that coming from small town living. But my small town living gave me knowledge in so many areas. And I was blessed to be over on that side of the mountain for a very long time. May go back there, I don't know. Anyway, I just kind of want to say that in this interim of me being down with recovery of 2 very major surgeries, I am still working on my 2nd cookbook, which is near and dear to my heart. This one is going to be so totally different than that first little one that I put out. My next cookbook is going to be a reflection solely of me. It's going to be something as a legacy that I leave to not just my children, because they're all boys and they don't cook and do like girls do. Some of them kind of do, but nothing like what I cook like. So this will be for my granddaughters, their children and children to come. And I wanted to incorporate in that some very different things. One are stories of long ago, things that I remember about my grandparents, my great-grandparents, of what I was told about them. Funny little stories of things that happened in your kitchen that you can remember. Childhood memories. It also is going to have, yes, my artwork in there because I am an artist. It will have poems that I wrote many, many years ago. And it is a seasonal cookbook, which means the difference of mine will be that certain recipes you cook at certain times of the year. You don't always, we're in winter right now, and we just got over the holidays of December, of cooking all the holiday favorites, at Christmas time, New Year's, all of that. And some of those recipes you don't normally cook like in spring or summer. So if you were to open my cookbook and you were to say, I want to make that recipe that Diane makes that is we'll take example, the cold rice shrimp salad that I make. And I usually make that during the summer. Sometimes I've made it in the spring, but most of the time it's summer. That one you would open up the summer section of the book, and there it is. And I think that's going to be helpful to so many people of saying, I remember her making it this, or Mom made always her chili, during the fall or something, and I want that recipe. And thank you to all of the new people that are watching the older, what I call older now, videos that I made and getting a big kick out of them and actually making my recipes. And that's what it's all about. My little favorites of what I've put into the recipe book, of course, will be all the videos I already showed you how to make things, and then some extra things that I've put in there. Things that in Colorado cooking. I'm not from back east. I don't make heavy gravies or sauces or, loaves of bread and all kinds of things that a lot of other Southern cooks do. I call myself a Colorado cook because born and raised in Colorado. Cook the Colorado way. I'm not a gourmet cook or chef. I don't like a heavy amount of spices. I do what's called simplicity cooking, and that's what you'll find in my cookbook. And it's almost there. I'm working diligently on it, so it's almost there. In the interim of sometimes setting down the cookbook, I have, it's almost finished. It's in the third editing stage of my third novel. That will be out very, very soon, and I hope you like that one. I know a lot of people certainly liked the first and second one, but the second one because it's a whodunit type of story. And I'm going to plug my novel because, each one of them takes me a very, very long time. These aren't little tiny books of paperback books. No, they are very thick, and they're usually over 500 pages of something to read. With that being said, those are the two things that I've been working on in the interim of a recovery period. And a couple more things that maybe you want to know about where I live and why I live here was, yes, like I said, the elevation I dropped down. Oh, there's a difference of about 1,674 feet in elevation that I've dropped down to for health reasons, really. For cooking purposes, not so good. The things that I was so used to of high elevation cooking, I've had to adjust now down here. Differences in planting things out in, a little garden or my greenhouse. Grand Junction has a different soil down here. They have a lot of alkaline in the soil down here, which is the white texture that you see on dirt. There's high calcium levels down here, and if you see the red dirt, like if you were to go over to Utah and you see all that beautiful red dirt, well, that's high in iron, and we have areas that have red dirt too. Our state is a square state. Look on any map and you'll see it doesn't have any personality to it as far as the formation of it. It's just a square-looking box on a kind of oblong box on the United States map. But our four corners are kind of special. Each corner meets together, and that is where you can be in Colorado same minute, be in Colorado, be in Arizona, be in New Mexico, and be in Utah all at the same time. It's kind of nice. It really is kind of nice. That's another little fun fact about Colorado. So if you would look it up to find just other couple things, of course, our state flower is the columbine. It blooms the highest the middle of June. I like to be up in Meeker of what's called Miller Creek, way up there on top of that mountain with my four-wheeler. Yes, I ride a four-wheeler. Well, now I ride a side-by-side. And I like to go up there to be in the mountains, the high, there's aspen trees up there, beautiful ones. The great big pine trees, Colorado, their tree, the state tree is the blue spruce. You'll find the blue spruce up there. Why? Because it is higher elevation. colder temperatures that make things grow like that. You don't find many blue spruce. There's a couple that they planted down here in Grand Junction, but nothing like what's up in the mountains. They're gorgeous trees, they really are. Our little birds that we have, in fact, our state bird is the lark bunting, and it looks very similar to a little sparrow. And I have right outside my back door is a huge tree, and it collects all these little lark buntings. They're wonderful because I love birds, always have. And these little birds sing such a cheery little song. And I can put out any little decorative little birdhouse hanging down from my little pergola out there in the back. And darned if those little birds go in there and make a nest, lay eggs. They lay between 2 and 6 eggs. And then the male little bird comes along and he's guarding that nest, you know, for a good 12 days in there until the eggs are hatched. And I've had several little families in one small, tiny little birdhouse that I put back there, and that's special to me. It's the simple things of life at my age now that I so enjoy. In cooking in my kitchen, getting back to, you know, that I will be coming back, I will. In cooking in my kitchen, I have really a rather large kitchen in this house, I really do. And I like that. I like counter space. And yes, my kitchen is loaded. You've seen some videos where, you know, maybe it's a modern kitchen, and that's great, you know, with modern things and very few things set out on the counter. Well, you're not going to find that in my kitchen. I've got just about everything, and maybe 2 or 3 of the items. And that's just me. I'm a vintage person. I like to have vintage things of cookware or little utensils. Something like that just kind of lights me up, that I like to work with all of that. The other day, I have to kind of back up my story. Every month I have a little group of lady friends that we go out to lunch together. It's just our time, and no men allowed. It's just our time to go out to lunch somewhere, enjoy the lunch, and we're liable to sit there for 2, sometimes 3 hours. Just talking with each other. And it's been special to me. Well, then one of them suggested, well, instead of these restaurants to go to, how about if we have lunch, you know, in one of our houses that we fix lunch? And it can be a simple lunch to whatever you want to do. Well, of course, I got elected to do the first one. And I fixed a Chinese luncheon. And because I kind of know how to do this, I did set the bar a little bit high for these ladies, for them to do their lunch, but it's okay. I set my theme of my table, everything Chinese, you know, from having the Chinese nice umbrellas that they use to, of course, the white orchid flowers, and I had a real one on the table, to the special Chinese little teapots that they have, and the little cups that come with the teapots, to pretty much all the Oriental dishes. I had a little menu for them, and I started the meal with having, and I told them when they sat down, everything that you're going to get, with the exception of one little item, everything you're going to put in your mouth today is homemade. Nothing is going to be store-bought from the store, or, you know, I cheated and went down to a restaurant and ordered it and put it in front of them. Oh, no. That's not me. So, with the exception of the hot mustard sauce that you like to have on the side, everything else was homemade. So I started with egg drop soup. And I've gone to a lot of different Chinese and Asian restaurants, and they all make it a little different. But I kind of like the egg drop soup. I'm not so much on the sweet, the hot, sweet and hot, I think it's called, soup. I'm not so much on that. But I do like a good egg drop soup. So I fixed that and made that for him first. And I was the hostess, and I was the chef, and I was the server, everything. You know, I just asked them to sit down, asked them not to bring anything, just come with an empty stomach, which they did. So I served them their soup. Okay, they gobbled that up. And then I took the next little plate, which was a little salad plate, and I fixed them homemade egg rolls, homemade egg rolls, and homemade of the sweet and sour sauce that you dip it in. And I gave each one of them 2 egg rolls, and on the side was a garnishment of that I had put cabbage, and then a slice of a tangerine slice on there, and a little dollop of shredded carrots, just for presentation purposes. Okay, and then we went from that to the main course, of course, is the sweet and sour chicken. Now, I have shown you a video on how I make my sweet and sour chicken, because again, when you go to a Chinese restaurant, most of the time, all you get is the deep fat fried chicken and just a bunch of bell peppers and onions, and that's it. And then the sauce that goes on top, and they serve it with either white or fried rice. And so I had the bed of steamed white rice, and I put that down first. And then I had cooked my version of sweet and sour chicken. And then, of course, my red, because it's kind of red, bright red, of the sweet and sour sauce on top. And I gave each one of them a plate of that. And I kept my setting cozy and intimate. It was for 4 at my table. I didn't put the leaf in my table because I wanted that intimacy. I wanted to hear them at the table, for one, because a couple of them can't hear that well. One of them can't hear that well, so I kept it real simple. And they gobbled every drop of that. I had, I brought out my silverware that had the orchid. It's an orchid pattern on the sterling silverware. I brought that out to match the orchid of my orchid that was in the middle of the table. I had chopsticks for them to use. 2 of them tried on the chopsticks. And I served them, because I didn't want to get up and down all the time because I was going to eat too. I served them a glass of ice water. And then I had the cute little Chinese cups for, I had the jasmine tea in a nice little white elephant teapot that was given to me for Christmas. And as a special little treat, and I even ordered the cups and that little carafe that held it, I served them sake. I did. And they actually tried it. You know, one was, oh no, you know, she was driving. She didn't want to try it at all, but she did try a sip of it. Just for the taste, you know, to see what it was all about. Which sake is sake, and it's strong. It is alcohol, and it's strong. So they had all of that, you know, to eat and drink and enjoy. And then for dessert, yes, I made, which I showed you on one of my videos, how to make homemade fortune cookies. And I made that for them. And inside the fortune cookie, as I was getting the dessert of the homemade raspberry cheesecake, swirl cheesecake, another video that I showed you, a strawberry swirl Instapot, which they're so good, so easy to make. I did this one with my my raspberry jam, and I put fresh raspberry, the raspberries with a syrup to it on top. But before I gave them that dessert, is when I said, each one of you pick a fortune cookie and read what the fortune is inside. So one gal started with hers, and she was reading that as I was getting the cheesecake served on the plates. And the very next one got the fortune cookie with the fortune inside that said, you win. I put that in there. And she says, well, I don't know what I won, but I win at whatever. And I said, you win the orchid flower in the middle of the centerpiece. Oh my gosh, she just got so excited. Fun little things like that to do with your gifts to make them welcome in your home. I'm hoping that my luncheon was a big hit. After lunch, we went into the living room and we talked a good hour in there, you know, just about a variety of things. And this is what's nice about having lady friends that are different ages, is that you get a different variety of conversations. And each one had a comment about something, whether it was, and we don't like to talk too much about, we try to wave against this, about religion, politics, sex, all subjects in a group of people. You know, everybody's going to have their opinion about it. But I'll tell you what, it's a hoot to get with us because we're liable to say anything or do anything. We really are. But I sure enjoyed my lunch yesterday. Actually, it was yesterday. That I put all that together for the ladies. Yes, I was tired, you know, when I got done with all of it because I don't move and maneuver and everything like I used to. I'm not 40 years old anymore to do all of that, but I still enjoy putting a meal together for guests or family, and I still enjoy cooking, and that's the main thing. And I've missed coming into my kitchen and doing my videos for you, and I know a couple of you have missed me, and I do apologize for that. I will get back to doing this. Just give me a little longer, and please be patient and wait for my cookbook and novel that's coming out soon. But I kind of just wanted to come on today and say, you know, I just need a heartfelt talk with you. I need you to understand that sometimes just life gets in the way, and pretty much when you're down with your health, which was unexpected with me on this, that sometimes you just have to kind of say, stop the train for a little while. You know, just, we're not going to go any farther. I made quite a few videos. I really did. Not like some people that go really wild on it, making every day maybe 3 and 4 videos in a day. If you've made cooking videos, you know what's involved. You know the prep work of getting things lined out. And of course, you're going to forget something. Everybody does. Whether you're making a video or not, you're going to forget certain things that you say, oh, forgot the cinnamon. Let me grab it right quick. You know the work involved in putting it together, making the recipe, finishing the recipe, and ending the video, putting everything away. You know, that takes time, the cleanup, and then the editing of the video, which again, in this interim of me being down until I actually make another cooking video, I'm going to try really hard, folks, to find an editing program that really pieces things together, cuts out different background sounds. I do apologize for my 2 little dogs. There's not much I can do about sometimes with their barking. They're a dog, they're an animal. And they're going to bark. They bark at the mailman. They bark at a truck going down the street. They bark because they bark. And my littlest one, Cocoa Bean, is only 2. And so to me, he's still kind of in that puppy stage. And so he's going to bark at all kinds of things. But I do apologize for some of my videos. When I go back and look at them, it's like, God, just shut up that dog for a few minutes. Other videos, people look at their videos and, you know, it's just total silence. Today is my little interim that I'm trying to have it total quiet in the house, and so that I can talk with you one-on-one. And I've missed all of you. I've missed some of the comments. I've missed the what's called DM, which is a direct message to me, you know, asking me a question about some things, because some people are, you know, they don't want to put out their information. They just want to talk to you and ask you something, and that's great. That's fine. And I don't put my recipes in the comment area of my videos. It takes too long. Way too much on a video of the length, you know, the size and everything. So one of my husband's friends at work watched my meatloaf video and actually went home and made it. Now, this is a man, not a woman. Actually went home and made it and liked it. And another one says, well, do you have the recipe? I can just print out the recipe. No, watch my video. That's why I make them. You know, I want you to see firsthand how I put it together, what the next step was of whatever the ingredient was, and where you go from there. And I think if you do that, some of the videos are kind of long, some of them aren't. You know, I tried to narrow them down. I think the very longest one I ever made was making my Easter sugar eggs. I was kind of still new at the video experience of doing those, and I just sat there and went for it and made them. Decorated them, and did, and that video turned out pretty long. I think my fall craft one was a little long one too, because and I kind of forget that I'm videoing. I forget that the camera is on, that I just kind of work in my kitchen and go from there. But anyway, if there's something that you want to talk about with me, I like to watch videos that, like I say, that you sit there and kind of find out somebody else's life. Mine's completely different than people back east, like I said. Mine's completely different than people out in California. I don't live that kind of a lifestyle either. I do live a more simplified life now. I'm semi-retired, and yet I still do quite a bit of things. Empty nester, I've definitely been that for quite a while. My children are all grown adults and gone from the house. I do enjoy my granddaughter coming over to see me or interacting with her. That I get a big kick out of at my age. They're not little, 2 or 5 year olds anymore to deal with and get totally exhausted and say, okay, now go home to your parents. No, she's a little older than that now, and I certainly enjoy her. And I've made several cooking videos with my granddaughter. So that part I like. Come spring, if I'm feeling better, come spring, I'll do another walk around the yard with me. And it's kind of like walk around in my garden. I think I called it the last time, but it's a time when everything is new again. And hopefully I will be too. It's a time where things are sprouting up, things are getting green. Life is coming back to my yard and around me. And I like to show you maybe a fruit tree or something that I've planted, how my hollyhocks are doing, in the spring, to give you an idea of this is what it looks like from the stagnant part of winter. Now we're going into spring and then summer, and you can plan your garden beds accordingly. I have a wonderful little greenhouse. It's not a large one. It's just right for me growing my herbs. And I do grow my herbs to have all year round. I don't waste them in any way. I like to cook with fresh herbs, and I like to dry them. And there is a little gadget. I'll have to go back and look on that video. And this is why I watch other people's videos, to get ideas, for something that I may like to have. And one of them was, I can't remember what they called it. Green. It's round in shape, and it has layers to it and zippers that I can put and it's netting, that I can put my herbs in there. Like maybe I could start with the top row of oregano, and then I can start the second row with the thyme. And when I get ready to dry my herbs, I can hang them in this little hanger in my greenhouse and have them dry. What I've been doing over the last few years is hanging them. I bunch them all together with a string, heavy twine, and then I hang them on a string in our garage. And boy, when you open that garage door or the side door, into the garage, and you're just right now with the smell of all those dried herbs. It's a little overwhelming at times, like kind of like going into a pot shop. It really is. It's kind of overwhelming. So I'm hoping this other little method works for me in my area. I'm going to see, because like I said, down in Grand Junction where I live, why does everything work down here? Because of the sunny days. Yes, we are known for, well, on the eastern side, it's a melon capital of the world. Cantaloupes, honeydew, watermelon. We don't have the Green River, Utah watermelon, which is right on down the road from me. Not really that far that I can go get a Green River watermelon, but we do have good cantaloupe that we grow in Colorado. And of course, where I live, we have wonderful peaches, the Palisade peaches that I talk about. But we have more than that. We have cherries that grow well down here, plums, pears, apples that grow very well down here. So in my area of the yard that I've diligently planning, and it takes a good 3 years, it really does, for an apple tree or a peach tree to get going, to root good, and get going where they produce the fruit. Last year, one peach tree gave me 200 peaches, and they were the best peaches. In fact, I liked them better than the Palisade peaches, to tell you the truth. My cherry trees, I'm hoping this year will produce the cherries. I really do. My plum tree gave me a lot of plums. Grapes, of course, we have the vineyards of the grapes down here. We have a lot of wineries down here for the grapes. And I grew our own grapes here. I did the green ones and the deep dark purple ones. And instead of making wine, of course, I made the grape jam, which I showed you in a video. And I'm sure this year I'll have a ton more grapes. I wasn't able to make the harvest of anything with my grapes this last season. So pretty much all of the green ones I gave away. And when the dark ones came up, I had to just leave them on the vine because I couldn't physically go out there and do anything with them, which was a shame. It really was. But my other, like I said, fruit trees, I nurture them. I take care of them. I talk to them. I water them well. We have a wonderful, massive, nice irrigation system. And with anything, you know, it takes water to grow something. And I have an abundance of water. And down here, I have an abundance of sunlight, and that helps anything grow. There's been some trial and error on different things that I have grown that haven't taken. There really has. But my flowers do very well down here. The Colorado columbine down here, because it's hotter temperatures, don't do like when I lived up in the mountains. I had gorgeous Colorado columbines, yellow ones, the beautiful purple ones, the ones that are kind of a two-tone color of the pink. They're kind of a rose color. Oh, they were so pretty in my yard. Down here, not so much. They get about this tall, and that's it. Whereas the ones that I'm used to are large in size. You know, they're really tall, beautiful columbines. So give and take everywhere you live. There's something that you either like or you dislike. And I've had to adjust my living style to so many different variations down here in this desert heat where I live. I call it the sand blossoms down here on my website, my artist website, which is called thegardenersglove.com. That's where you will see all my gardening ideas and the things that I've done in my yard to all my artwork that I do of my watercolors. And there is an area I've set aside for what I call sand blossoms, because it's the flowers that grow in sand. And we have a lot of it down here. Sandy, hard dirt, you know, that other things grow. Cactus that bloom, that are so pretty, versus mountain living. And again, like I said, I may go back to mountain living somewhere or have a happy medium in there. I don't know. Husband and I are still kind of, we're not city people. We just really aren't. And we do, at our age, get tired of the traffic, the mass of people. I mean, 60,000 people, that's a lot of people, you know, to be elbow to elbow with. I'm still not used to it in the stores, you know, that many people. I'm not used to the rudeness. I'm used to going to the grocery store and getting up to the check stand and then looking at me and actually knowing my name and saying, "Hello, Diane, how are you today?" And you're not going to get that in a city. You know, once in a while, if you go to a grocery store in the city that you go to all the time, you know, they'll remember you and all that. But most of the time, not on a first name basis. And that's kind of what I miss in a small town. I don't miss the people that get in your business. You know, I don't miss snootiness of small towns of different people, because they develop that. You know, if you're not born and raised in a small town, then they don't want to accept you. And boy, I've experienced that. I really have. Whereas I don't have that down here in a big city, and I'm able to really choose the friends that I want to have in my life, and the ones that I have now wouldn't trade for the world. One in particular, and I mention her every now and then, but she's pretty special to me. We're just so much alike on things. And she came from an area. She came from Craik. Her folks were up there. And I lived in Craik for quite a few years. And she knows the places I've been, the stores that I have shopped, people that, you know, we knew. We were both in sorority, not the same sorority together, but we both were in sorority way back in the day. And when you find like people like that, you know, like-minded people like that, then you're just kind of overwhelmed. That small world, you know, that I found somebody down here that came from a place that I came from, of an area, and we can talk on so many levels. We really can. She has been a good, true friend. And there's all kinds of friends out there. There's all kinds of people that you meet. And I've said it before, that people come into your life at the times that they do and the reasons that they do. And they leave your life at the times that they do and the reasons for why they do. And I told her yesterday, you know, that I don't want to say or do anything to lose you as a friend because, man, you're special to me. And she says, not even a chance. That's not going to happen. And I hope not, because I really do cherish her as a friend. Because I've had good friends over the years that come and go. Maybe you've moved. Just a lot of life changes makes friends come and go out of your life. So if you have one or two, cherish them. My mother always had that saying of, if you have 3 good friends, your health, and someone to love, you have everything. And you do. Think about it. 3 good friends. Can you count in your life that you actually have 3 best friends? Or do you just have a whole group of people that you're around all the time and you call your friends? But 3 that have stayed with you through thick or thin. Your health, well, that's a roller coaster up and down, isn't it? Because when you don't have your health, which I've experienced numerous times, then you don't have a whole lot in your life because it kind of comes to a stop, which mine had to. Someone to love. Yeah, I do. And it can be as simple as my little fur babies, my little dogs, that are unconditional love, that no matter what, and when you're down sick, a little dog. I don't find this with a cat because I'm not a cat person, but, and I'm sure there's cats out there that do this. It's just with a dog, and I've had so many over the years, they know when you don't feel good. They know when you're sick. They stick right by your side, and mine never have left my side. And I mean right here during my surgeries the whole time. And I wouldn't trade that either. These 2 are pretty special. I've had some other ones, my last 4 dachshunds that I've had. Wow, I still miss them to this day. I really do. My oldest one that was 19 years old, little Peanut, called her Missy P. She developed liver disease and had to be put down. And boy, that dog went with me everywhere. From one ocean to the other, that dog has experienced so many things with me. Hardships, good times, whatever. I always had my little Missy P. And then I adopted a little dog that had been abused. And it was the first kind of male dog that I had for a very, very long time. And his name was Beanie. And he was a little black and tan dachshund, short-haired dachshund. That yes, I don't know what happened in that dog's life, because I got the dog when it was either 3, maybe 4 years old. And it's hard when you adopt a dog because you don't know their past very well. And I didn't on it. Its tail had been cropped, and it had been fixed. But it liked me, you know. It came to me because I was the one rescuing the dog, and it was close to me. But whatever had happened in that dog's life, it was a biter. And it didn't like tall men. It didn't like men with boots or somebody with a hat on. It seemed to scare the dog. And if you came up to it too abruptly, it would liable to bite you. And so I always told everybody, you know, that came to see me or whatever, when I had that dog around me, you know, don't just go over. And doesn't that crack you up when people just go over to a little dog? Oh, it's so cute and I want to pet you. Well, no, you know, back off and wait a minute, because the dog could bite, and Beanie would. Then I was fortunate to get another little dachshund dog called Vienna. Vienna was special. She came to me because the people had a lot of children. And they were young little kids, and they had other animals. And the dog was kind of just off to the side, you know, just kind of forgotten most of the time. Had to fight for its food because of other animals, everything. And when it came to my house, I had that dog for quite a few years, but it went blind, and I dealt with blindness on a dog for several years until that got really bad, and I had to put Vienna down too. And Beanie had to be put down because he got diabetes so bad. And then in the interim of losing 3 dogs, and 2 of them on the same day, that was hard to take. So I went shopping for another little dog because the grief alone, because I've always had a little dog in my life, but the grief alone was just too much. So I went kind of shopping, and I didn't want to go to the pet adoption places. I actually went to a shelter, and I found little Buddy. He was half Chiweenie and half Dachshund, and oh gosh, I like that little dog. They just called him a stray, so I didn't know what the little dog's name was, and I kept looking at him that one evening when it was just him and I in the living room, and I thought, you're just my little buddy. You're my little friend now. You're my little companion now because I've lost my other dogs and I'm grieving so for them. But now you're in my life. And Buddy took to me like a duck in the water. He liked his new home. He liked his new little doggy bed. Well, why wouldn't he from a shelter? You know, he liked all of his toys and his little treats and everything. Buddy developed, which I didn't know. I knew at the time that he had a pigmentation in his eyes, they called it, which they said it was like an adult wearing sunglasses all the time, that he could see things, but it was darkened. His world was darkened. And he wasn't blind like Vienna, but it was kind of bad. And it could go to blindness, you know. So I kind of dealt with that, but he was my own little dog at the time. Well, time went on, and then my oldest son, which I didn't know, it was a surprise, that he had found a miniature dachshund. That's my Daisy May. And I said, well, now what am I going to do? You know, because I didn't really want 2 dogs all at once. But he says, oh, Buddy's just in the interim. And I said, no, Buddy's not in the interim. Buddy will be with me until the end of his days, which he was. He developed lupus, and he had to be put down. I don't like to keep a dog if it's suffering, you know, or any pain, and there's no other alternative, you know, then that's when their quality of life is over, and that's it. So Buddy was put down, and I had little Daisy May. But before Buddy was put down, Daisy and Buddy did bond with each other. And then that left a little period in there that Daisy was just with me. And I was fine with that. I really was. And they get so much attention when they're the only dog. Well, then second son his girlfriend decides to find a little friend for Daisy May. And that's where I have little Cocoa Bean. He's a long-haired dachshund. Might hear him in the background drinking some water right now. And he's been a joy to have too, because he's a little male. A whole different personality with that little dog. So my days are filled with my 2 little dachshunds. They really are. Husband, my days are filled with my husband. They are, because now he's not on the road traveling anymore. He's home more now. And so that means it's like the retired couple, you know, and they're both home. And now we've had to get reacquainted. We really have, on so many levels. And from meals to time we go to bed at night, from the time we wake up to the routine that I had, the routine that he had on the road is all different now. And we both have had to adjust to that. So life goes on, and I just, like I said, wanted to kind of sit down and have a little chit chat today of telling you I'm okay. I'm still here. I will be back. I miss all of you terribly, and I miss doing my cooking videos, but I will return. So I hope all of you are having a grand day. This is again from my little kitchen here to your kitchen, that we're just going to have a little over coffee, tea, whatever, sit down and enjoy my little video of telling you that I miss you, and I'll try to be back soon. Here's from me to you, Cooking with Carol Diane. I'll see you next time, hopefully real soon.